Hi, so I've got a lot of sketchbooks, right? This is not nearly as much as you would think I would have had, but they are quite a few. Today I'm going to go through one of them, and I'm going to actually share a few of them in a few videos, beginning with this one. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. So the reason I'm going to try to be going over some of these sketchbooks is, one, just to show you that getting better at drawing doesn't just happen magically. You kind of have to work at it. The sketchbook I'm going to show you is one of the two sketchbooks that I had that was a transition period where I was actually learning construction, solidity, that sort of thing, which led to my breakthrough sketchbook, the sketchbook that significantly shows true improvement. But before that, it was kind of in the middle, kind of like it still wasn't quite there. I'm going to show you that sketchbook first, and I'm going to skip the three sketchbooks that just quite wasn't the build-up sketchbooks. These smaller sketchbooks are build-up sketchbooks. So is this one here. Okay, so I had three sketchbooks before I hit the one that I'm going to show you today in this video. The reason is because, and if you want, I will show you guys these sketchbooks. Please let me know if you want to see them. They're not all that interesting to look at. If you're where I was at when I was doing these sketchbooks, then I think you would get a lot out of it, or at least appreciate the fact that I had to go through that path before I got to anywhere significant. So today I'm going to be showing you the sketchbook that I did right before I started really breaking through. All right, so I didn't really check to see when these sketchbooks were done. So usually my sketchbooks took a couple of years to finish. Sometimes it took 2 or 3 or maybe 4 years to finish. I just found this receipt here that says for my glasses, I spent some money on glasses and sent. Oh, right. This is for my trip to Italy. It says 1999. So that means that I got these glasses that I no longer have. Actually, they got destroyed. It says 1999 on this receipt, which means that at the end, by the time this sketchbook ends, or around the middle of this sketchbook, it was 1999. This was a drawing I did for a story that I was going to do. This is actually not where I was when I was doing this sketchbook, as far as skill-wise goes. I had inspiration on what good sketching is supposed to look like here. So I had in here, I had all this inspiration. This is a brochure for Steve Houston's gallery showing. Let's see if it says the date so that we can start orienting ourselves as to how. This is 1997. So somewhere between 1997 and 1999 is when this happened. I've got a poster in here. I'm a big fan of anime, so I have a ton of stuff. I always use my sketchbook as just a collection of everything that's been going on. So these sketches are from my friend and mentor Paul Wee. I was looking at his sketches and using them as inspiration of the direction and the kind of artwork that I needed to produce. myself. So I kept this as inspiration, and I taped up inspiration here as well on this side here. And here we go with the sketchbook, beginning here with some figure drawing. I don't know what this, and this must have been from a book which had the same pose in a lot of one of those pose books where they have like the person in different positions, and I did this all in pen, just doing studies. Here's another clue as to how early or late this sketchbook is, what year it is. Let me see. 1997, so 1997 here. These are sketches of my dog at the time, Louis, the Schnauzer. Poor Louis, I miss that dog. It's my brother and a friend of his. This was just sketches. Here I am taking notes at a Steve Houston figure drawing class. And again, more Steve Houston figure drawing class notes. More Steve Houston figure drawing notes. Then I'm practicing eyes, practicing head construction on my own, trying to memorize that sort of thing. And here on this side, you can see that I was trying really hard to I had shown my friend and mentor Paul my eye drawings, and then he gave me a lesson on drawing eyes here, so you can kind of see what he did. So having gotten my lesson from him, I would try to continue drawing eyes. Practicing drawing eyes from my imagination, trying to draw heads from my imagination. More head drawings, more eye drawings, more head drawings, practicing head and eyes, then going back to Houston, Steve Houston, notes. More Steve Houston notes. More Steve Houston notes on how to draw, and then so here is the little thumbnails to that drawing that kind of started off this sketchbook. In fact, I didn't think that I had drawn that at that time. This one here. Steve Houston sketch notes from his class, and then. Yeah, these are all Houston. How to draw mouths, the Steve Houston way. And Alex Ross. Okay, so we're starting to get into some of my classes for concept art, character layout. It was just called layout class. It was like a class taught by two Disney artists, one of them being Paul Felix, and the other one, I forgot his name, but he worked at Disney Feature doing layouts, and they were both like a really good team. Some observational sketches, maybe at the movies, I think. Yeah, definitely at the movies. Somebody in front of me in the movie theater, and then I was drawing the actual movie theater itself here. Drawings of my brother and somebody fishing. I don't know where I was, but there was more fishing here. 6 parts to drama, just kind of writing story notes here. And again, more construction practice. This is Bridgman, I believe, me trying to draw Bridgman and some bones here. I don't know if this is my drawing. This doesn't seem like my drawings. I think this is my friend Paul's drawings. But maybe not. Maybe it was my drawings. This is more Steve Houston notes. Lots of Steve Houston notes, if you notice. And then here's some more notes on writing. And more Steve Houston notes on the foot and the toes. Now here are my notes for that layout class. And a reminder to go to the dentist in 1998. But these are the compositions notes that I did for that class. And some story notes. And then this is me drawing animals. They're pretty awful. And more observational drawings. You know, I think I draw better observational drawings back then than I do now, I gotta say. This is these are drawings from the Famous Artist book, I believe. This is me attempting to draw the mannequin from the Famous Artist book, a figure drawing book, and this is a drawing that I did off of a magazine. Obviously, because I don't think I could have captured this guy actually really doing this. Here's another dentist reminder note from 1997. And more observational drawings. This is me, attempting to learn how to do Disney eyes. So I believe this is my friend Paul trying to teach me how Freddie Moore eyes work. And this is me attempting to do Freddie Moore eyes. A Freddie Moore head. Freddie Moore, if you don't know, is the Disney style. It's where the Disney style came from. If you know how to draw in the Freddie Moore style, you pretty much know how to draw in the Disney style. I'm not sure what this is, but it looks like compositional roughs. I think this was for the character layout. I mean the layout class, aka concept art. And again, more practicing Freddie Moore. This, I think I was just trying to draw something from my imagination. And these are from my imagination, just kind of being very loose. And this is me practicing eyes. And you're going to see a ton of me practicing eyes all the time. I still do it. And this is notes for my animation class. I was taking an animation class at the time. By the time by the way, this was what I was doing when I was already working on the Simpsons show, and my stuff just wasn't coming together yet, even though I was a professional at this point. Again, more drawings, and they're not very good here. And now I'm copying Frazetta, so these are me drawing Frazetta. Some notes on these are animation notes from my animation class, and observational drawings. More observational drawings. Notes of some sort. This is, I think, story notes on story. This is just drawing animals, observational notes, drawing these. Okay, so and then we've got more Frazetta copies. Notes from the concept art class. Just drawing what I see, observational drawing. This is me apparently attempting a concept art, some kind of background in concept art. This is somebody else's drawings. This is definitely not mine over here. I don't know whose it is or what it was trying to explain, but it was trying to explain something. More notes from the concept art class, and then I got a ticket here for the Philharmonic that says 1998. So this is for the concept art class. They showed us the big secret of doing the concept art stuff, and it's kind of like, if you want to have really good values and you want to do very shading, really good shading and values and stuff, you do it on tracing paper. Tracing paper is really, really good for doing tone and rendering. And these are sketches. These are Paul Felix sketches that he did, explaining some things. For me, I think. I'm not exactly sure, but he had a lot of these little things here, these sheets of paper, which is what he used. They're like storyboards, the Disney storyboard sheets. And these are just notes on composition and things like that. And then here's some more Paul Felix sketches. They're just beautiful little things. He was I had drawn something. Okay, so that's what it is. So I must have drawn something, and he was explaining why I sucked. So, I mean, that's not really true. But he was explaining things like I had done this, like, robot chasing a guy on a Pegasi, and he was giving me pointers as to interesting, more dynamic shots than the one that I had come up with. These are so cool, man. That's great. See, but even back then, I mean, oh man, that's cool. And then this is a handout that he gave. And here are some roughs that I was doing to try to come up with that thing that he decided wasn't all that great. And here's some more roughs and things like that, ideas here of stuff like I don't know, compositions of action stuff around. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know, there's like a monster just weird stuff here. Observational drawings and notes, handouts for animation handouts. Texture involving full figure drawing. So this is books we are convinced you must have. This is an animation class, and these are the books, the recommended animation books of the time of that class. So what they were saying, and I don't know what this is. So we've got more observational drawings. This is actually Paul Felix. I drew him in the class, and this is the other teacher. I drew him in the class while they were teaching. And this is some sketches that I did on a comic I was working on, and here's some Paul Felix tree, explaining trees to me and how to do trees, how to light trees, composition. Let me put it over here where it's not as blown out by the light. Or compositional stuff. More compositional stuff. This is it shows about lyric, how lines and S curves and C curves and just lyrical forms can make for the composition. And again, character stuff for the comic I was working on. And some shots for the comic, some ideas for shots in the comic. This piece of paper is here to make it so that these two pages don't smear. Interior design of some designs for the comic I was working on, and here's a ton of handouts. Whoa, something just fell. Animator as an actor. Recommended reading. So wow, just a lot of handouts for the animation class. Action problems, yeah. So there's just like a lot of handouts for that class. More background designs over on this side for the comic. And then I started trying to design the characters for that comic that I was working on at the time. You can see the final results at my website, luisescobarblog.com. There's a special area there where I put comics, and you can see the rough design. I never did finish it. I just didn't write a good enough story. Observational drawing. Animal drawing sketches. Observational drawing at the Renaissance Fair. These, I think, are Renaissance Fair stuff. Maybe not. There's nobody dressed as like a Renaissance Fair stuff. Okay, so here is me studying Bridgman. This is what I would do. I would just try to... This is just trying to memorize Bridgman stuff. Bridgman studies. More Bridgman studies. Bridgman studies. This is just in the middle here, just handouts. This drawing here was just for a... no, not this one. I don't know what this is for. But this one, by the way, it looks really nice because it's my friend and mentor Paul Wee. He drew it. My friend Bill, who I used to sit next to at work. And more Bridgman copies. And then this is me attempting to learn to ink more comic book-like. This is where I really started doing more comic book type stuff. This sheet's a handout for my concept art class. And this is me, again, practicing more Bridgman type construction, practicing my Steve Houston mouths. This is when I was starting really to finally start getting down some kind of solid head construction. I was right at the verge of really figuring this stuff out for myself. And this is a figure study, an attempt at anatomy from my imagination, and using shading and tone. I just hadn't gotten it down. This is a play that I must have gone to. And some more Bridgman type studies. This is for my imagination using what I learned from Bridgman. So this is me practicing my imaginative drawing using Bridgman formulas. And this is also doing the exact same thing. These 2 pages are me just trying to memorize Bridgman construction and how it works and how to draw using Bridgman construction. This is me from my imagination, again, trying to figure out how to do a comic book like drawing, and it's not quite working, but this is me using brushes and trying to learn to ink better than this is me practicing my inking. This is from a famous artist school photo. This is ink and black Prismacolor. This is me practicing my figure drawing just from photos, just trying to get the light and dark stuff down, trying to get my calligraphy down. Animation handouts. from my animation hand notes, and again, more trying to ink, trying to learn, trying to get my inking down, trying to get my figure drawing down, trying to draw something good for once, and it just still wasn't quite there. More sketching from observation, just sketches from of people. This is my brother. Trying to learn the anatomy of the shoulder when it's lifted up like this. I'm still not all that good at it, actually. I need to practice this a lot more, but this is me attempting to, I think this is from my head. This is an imaginative drawing, me trying to figure out the construction here. And again, doing my best Bridgman. And again, trying really, really hard to learn to ink. It's just not working. And looks like Jack Nicholson. I was watching a movie and I was drawing the actors. And here I am, again, imaginative drawing, just trying to get the lighting down myself. Something that looks like something out of a comic. I was just so bad at doing that. And this is me learning not only to control line width with ink, which was completely out of control. This is just terrible, but just trying to get imaginative lighting down, like just lights and darks and things. And just failing, just not doing well. But without having done these, I wouldn't know how to do it later. Like I just needed to be able to attempt to do this from my head. This is a drawing that I did, just trying to do some solid work here, more construction stuff. Again, this is imaginative. A drawing that I did from my head, but it was based off of a real lady. It was her who I was basing the design off of. So this is an original design and attempting to draw her. And again, this is me practicing inking, practicing tone and value. And then here we got more sketches of that. This is observational drawing. This is my girlfriend at the time. And this is just drawing people around me. And then I've got 1997. So we're just going back and forth in time here, I guess. Again, another attempt at drawing from my imagination. Something with value. More eye studies, more mouth studies. More lighting attempts. Terrible, terrible stuff. Observational drawings. This one turned out pretty good. I like this one. Observational drawings. Out and about. Again, more designs for my characters. This is more Paul Wee inspiration. This is what he would do in his sketchbooks. And this is me doing character design, attempting to draw my character, design my character. More observational drawing. This is just inspiration, sketches from different artists and how their sketches look like, so that I could try to emulate. Observational. Here's more. These are Steve Houston notes for sure. Steve Houston notes. So apparently I started taking another Steve Houston class, because now we've got a lot of Houston class notes here. What's this? This is a sheet of newsprint where I took notes at a Steve Houston class, I believe. So I must have forgotten my sketchbook this time, and he was talking about eyes. So more Houston notes. And then apparently I actually used this sketchbook for figure drawing. So I did, in Steve Houston's class, this is my figure drawing, and I was using this terrible, really unwieldy, not very helpful pen. And you could literally see Steve showing me what I was doing wrong here. Here's a Steve Houston fix. Here's a Steve Houston fix over here. Here's him explaining what I'm doing wrong here with his Conte, his brown Conte pen. And here's my drawing of this, and this is Steve Houston's drawing of this. So he drew here to explain to me what I was doing wrong here. So this is Steve Houston's artwork on my sketchbook. That's so cool! Again, more of my figure drawings, and here's Houston explaining what I'm doing wrong and how my light's not working. More figure drawing at the Houston's workshop. Here, this is where he's like, well, see this knee? This is how it works. So he tried to explain the knee to me here. And then more notes, because what we would do is we'd do figure drawing, and then he'd give a lecture for about 15 minutes, and I'd take notes, and then we go back to doing figure drawing. And so here's more Houston notes. I think this is not Houston notes. I think this is me actually trying to apply Houston's notes. And then this is me actually writing down the process, gesture, construction. Even if you think you got it here, okay, draw it, check it, draw over it. Anatomy, is it true? Perspective, tone, redo it. Rhythm, design, line quality. Don't think you got it right the first time. So this is actually me writing down all these things that I've been learning. I'm actually, and it's funny, but this is the sort of thing that I actually tell you guys in my videos. That is crazy. Like I even wrote it down for myself so that I could, as I was learning it, I wrote it down here in this sketchbook. This is Steve Houston notes on the ear, his lectures on the ear. His lectures on the neck. These look like just inspiration. Handouts on drapery. Carl Ganas drapery drawings, Carl Ganas figure drawings, Carl Ganas drapery handouts, and then sketches. Interesting. Interesting. Didn't know I had these here. Observational drawings, and at the same time there's a ton of... Oh, that's why. Because I was taking a Carl Ganas drapery drawing class. I remember now. That was such a pain in the neck. Oh my gosh, it was so painful to draw in that class. And these are the handouts that he gave. We had people just wearing clothes, and we would try to draw them. Not these people. This has nothing to do with it. But... oh man, I remember just struggling in this drapery drawing class. It was just hell. And then I could see here zigzag folds, half folds, snags on diaper folds. I have notes all over here about it. All right, so here is some kind of... this is Houston. This is me. He's talking about value in this lecture. So I tried to capture what he did with my ballpoint pen. Also, I changed to ballpoint pen. If you had noticed, this is a thing. If you'd noticed that from here, and I hadn't even noticed until now. But we go back here. After this figure drawing class, I went to pencil, and then I went to ballpoint pen. And the reason I did was because after that figure drawing class, Houston looked at the pen that I was using to do this figure drawing, and he said, "You know what? The pen that you're using is a little unwieldy. It's unforgiving. What I'd recommend you do is use a ballpoint pen." And I've been using ballpoint pens ever since. So this is the sketchbook where I started using ballpoint pens to sketch in. And I've been doing it ever since because, like I said, like Houston said, they're a lot less, they're a lot more controllable. The pens that I was using was far more unwieldy. And I think these are more handouts from the Carl Ganesh drapery drawing class. And so this page here and this page here are Steve Houston notes. But then I started practicing drawing eyes. And so you can see me drawing eyes here. And this woman that I drew started with an eyeball, just an eyeball. And then I drew the other eyeball, and then I drew the mouth. And then little by little, I was just like kind of making my way down. So, and this is kind of the same way with this lady, kind of making my way down. So these are me practicing drawing eyes. And I think I'm finally starting to make some breakthroughs here. This is the very first page that I've ever done in any of my sketchbooks where it has eyes that look as nice as these. I think I finally made a breakthrough in this very page. But it could also be that I made a breakthrough in a thumbnail sheet of paper. In these days, I used to keep a thumbnail sheet of paper. In the next sketchbook tour, I will show you that. But Steve Houston notes. And all of these are in ballpoint pen. These are observational drawings. And more kind of drawing eyes from my head. And I believe this is the last drawing. This is me attempting to design my characters. And I had this tendency of kind of not finishing my sketchbooks. I have 4 pages left that I didn't even use. More inspiration here in the back. And just notes. So that is this sketchbook. This is the sketchbook that where I definitely started getting to the point where I was about to make some significant breakthroughs. It isn't until the next sketchbook that you'll see a huge jump between what I was doing in here and the next work that I did. Okay, so that's it for the sketchbook tour number 1. The next sketchbook will be far more entertaining. This is the study sketchbook. You could see how much I was studying and I was learning a lot of stuff. There was a lot of failure here. But the next sketchbook is a significant jump. I will show you that sketchbook next time. That's it for me. Thanks a lot. Bye.